Quite a land. What would you got planned for this particular scene?
Well, this is a mock-up of the bottom of the cave. The cave is actually a hole that's been specially dug in the garden for the scene. The cave in which mainly was hidden in the sack, and the body was later discovered. The reason this has been created here is because it's very difficult to get this shot with Sarah's hand coming out of the sack to this position here. Do you want to just demonstrate how we're going to try and achieve this? Is that it'll come straight out. The ring. What is the ring moved on this occasion. The point is, the hand will come down right into the middle of the frame. The spotlight then will be the supposed light, perhaps from the torch that would have been shining on the scene anyway. And we just couldn't do it in the real hole because the room is quite restricted. It's about 4 feet deep, and we just couldn't possibly get Sarah, myself, and the camera down there.
On the skeleton?
Yeah, when the body was discovered at the bottom of the cave, because a stone was placed across, like a large slab to seal it off. So if anyone had gone down there, they might have thought well, it was just the stone was the end of the passage and that was it. But the potholders who went down there actually moved the stone, and they found the chamber behind, and that's where they found the bones, and they also found the rings.
Hey, look what's behind you! Rings!
Just a minute. Shine the torch back again. My God, it's a human skull.
And we've shown the hand. This was what happened in 1919 when the sack was put down there. Whether the hand actually came out, I don't know. This has been done for dramatic effect. But if you go ahead then 42 years to the time when the cave was opened up, the shot for that will then be taken in the hole. We're using a false, or obviously a mock-up skull. It won't be done here, it'll be done in the proper hole. And then these two rings will be put down so that here they come prominent into the shot where their fingers come down and you can see them in the middle of the shot. Because 42 years will have passed, there have been a lot of disturbance probably from small animals and whatnot, perhaps removing the bones and shifting them around. The rings will then be lying down in close-up, and when we run that particular shot where the cave has been opened up, so whereas previously we put a sort of flag across the light to block the light out, supposed to be the slab moving across. When the slab is removed to discover the remains, the ring will have moved, it'll be lying in close up and the skull will be behind, and the torch light then will sort of play around a little bit so you move from seeing the rings and it'll light up on the skull.
Are you happy with that, Sarah? Are you capable of...
Well, time will tell.
Yeah.
Give us a quick run through then.
Oh, the ring just fell off it.
Well, like that. Yeah. And keeping that hand absolutely still is not easy at all, because we've done this a few times in rehearsal before running the shot.
I think that'll work. What do you reckon, Ed?
I think it's fabulous.
Lawrence?
Oh, definitely.
Just, not running the camera, just put...
Are you going to do it again?
No, I'm just looking. Yeah, I think we're right. I think it was all right.
Oh, dead.
Yeah, so I think we'll go ahead with it.
Do you want to do one more go?
Alright.
Yeah, go on then. With that running. Let's
If you tell me when to bring the plate across.
Right, not yet. Down. Down. Plate.
Yeah, then time.
When did you first start shooting it? It's taken a long time, I
It's
believe.
been a long time in production, yes. Even by my standards, and I can take quite a long time over a film and happily do so as long as I try and get it right. This first started shooting in April 2006. The letters that went out to the paper were in fact early 2006. So it got off to quite a rapid start to begin with. Letters went out, replies came in, I sifted through, and in a matter of a few weeks or a couple of months I could start to formulate the tales that I wanted to include, though it was still developing. I could see the ones which I knew I would include, therefore I thought, oh, I can begin shooting now, and some of the early scenes were accomplished in 2006, and it got off to a good start, but then after I think a year or so it seemed to get a little bit bogged down, and in fact, although theoretically you could say, well, it was shooting for 6 years, not continuously. It was actually, when I looked at the diary, I kept a diary of all the shooting because it needed to be a very detailed breakdown, so I could always refer back to what was done when. And it was a good thing I did, actually, because I had to refer back to it during the course of the shoot. But I did notice that it was almost a 2-year gap when nothing was done, and I thought at the time, this film is starting to go nowhere. It's too difficult to handle. It's too much for one individual to do. But after a break, I went back to it and picked it up again. I forget what scene I was shooting, because to be fair, as with Sarah, everyone who's appeared in it, they've all been people I've known or got to know locally.
And it's all done on a low budget, of
Very
course.
low budget.
Because something I noticed,
yes.
of course, Sarah couldn't have any choreography, or the actual dance scene was actually done by yourself.
Yeah.
The actual, so that must have took some doing, a lot of rehearsing.
Well, I don't know, it's just going different places really. Where did we go? Rest, was it?
We did the final scene, we did at the Rest actually, yes, on the stage they've got there. That was the final one, because we did, one of the scenes was shot here in the studio.
Yeah.
But because the studio is this rather small garage, it meant that there was not the distance between where Sarah was dancing on the supposed stage and where the camera was put, so I couldn't accomplish a full-length shot. She could only be showing really head and shoulders. And when I saw the results of that scene, although they have been used in the film, I thought there is something not quite right about this, because her first entrance into the dancing scene should show her fully, as if head to foot, with more of the stage. And I remembered that they had got the stage at the Rest, and I asked them if they, because I'd shot other scenes there for the film at the Rest Hotel as one of the Port Call stories, I asked them if I could use their stage, and they very kindly agreed that I could. And that was probably one of the quickest shoots ever, certainly in this film, and probably in my whole career, because we had until, I think the arrangement was that Sarah was working anyway in the afternoon and couldn't be available until such and such a time, which could have been 3:30 for the sake of argument. The Rest was going to close at 4:30 and the staff were going to leave, so they said, well, you can happily have the stage for the afternoon, but please be finished by 4:30. So I took the gear down early on and set it all up, with the lighting, got everything ready, knowing that all I had to do was get Sarah in the costume there. But for some reason I think we were running a bit late that day, so we actually, I picked you up something like 4 o'clock and got down to the Rest about 4:05 with 25 minutes to shoot it.
Dance quick.
That's done, yeah, that's right.
Well, when you've done a dance scene, something I wanted to know, did you actually use any music to it? Or did
No,
you?
we didn't, did we?
We did here in the studio. I don't
yeah.
think, I'm not sure if we did at the Rest. I think it was just a case of
I think
straight
we
up on the
did that
stage,
there,
and
yeah.
I think you went straight and did it, yeah.
You've done it without
Just
the actual music then?
in your
Because
head.
I believe so.
done it in
Yes.
Wow.
I don't think it was
How
time to
amazing
run
is
it.
that?
Well, it was, and yeah. And in fact, what it amounted to was, I said to Sarah, right, will you run this dance 3 times, please, on the stage? Because the first time I had the camera with a relatively wide lens to show more of the stage and to show her full length, head to toe, a little bit of headroom and a little bits of room for the feet as well. And then having run, so I filmed the sequence when she ran right through the dance, which I don't know how long it took, a minute or so. And then I said to her, right, I'm changing to a telephoto lens because I want some close-ups. First one will be a close-up of the head and shoulders, so would you mind doing the dance again? So quickly back into position, dance through again the second time, camera runs another shot, and then finally, oh, I'm going to get your feet for this one, the camera tilts down to get the feet. So it was 3 dances, just run one after another, and then of course it all edited together after.
Yeah, which brings us very nicely into the